You're listening to Spreaker Web Radio.
Okay, y'all, whatever technical problems we had, seems like we're back, and I sure hope so. That's a very suspicious thing, right? LTA, I've been off the air for 6 months, 3 months, and today is the day we get together and decide to get back. And what happens? Very suspicious that we were put off the air. Jackie, I feel a conspiracy theory coming on.
Well, it's all Barry's fault, okay?
Yeah, because Barry is always blackballed and putting time out and all sorts of shit. You're associating with him, Jackie, that has led us to this moment. Barry?
Well, this happens because I've had considerable practice being this way.
Barry says, I was born this way.
Yeah. Well, you know, Jackie, that was a really nice spin. He defended himself very well, did he not?
Oh, he did.
You have not been...
In other words, don't expect too much difference.
you have not been paying attention to the Republicans too much, Barry, because you spunt that shit in a way that I can understand it and not feel like, damn, he didn't answer that question at all. That was beautiful. I want to thank you for that. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, y'all. So we're back, and hopefully we won't get no more shit because we are so excited to be bringing you the show. Okay, so this is part 2. So let me give you the subject of tonight's show. It is called What Had Happened with. Oh no, that's not it. It's not what had happened was. It's called Riding a Rolling Catastrophe. And if you heard the first part of the show, we have been riding and rolling on the Republican convention, which is what we're talking about, the rolling catastrophe. And now that we have Barry here, we are going to go on because, you know, I first have to rant and rave and vent. And the three of us ranted and raved, and they vented with me for an hour on the first show. Now we get to the good stuff.
Well, now, Brenda, wait a minute. Now, the one thing that we still have not talked about before we get on.
Wait. I'm fixing to tell the subjects. Wait before you get me. And then
right.
And then if I don't run through
all I have to say is you better do it right. if you my part, I'm gonna be mad at you.
Can y'all believe it? I haven't taught my insubordinate workers nothing. They come back right on my case. Y'all remember how they used to treat me? Well, it ain't changed. Shit's still the same. But give me a chance to fuck up first, and then you can get on me. Miss Uppity. Okay, so I just gave y'all tonight's subject before I was so rudely interrupted by my insubordinate staff. But we're going on. The Republican convention, Melania Trump, what had happened was Melania Trump. What had happened was, oh no, that's not.
We're not going to give her the international correspondence quite yet, right?
No, we're not. My husband just says that Melania sounds like something that you get on your feet. I can't come to work today. I got a bad case of Melania. I can't walk. Okay.
Didn't stop by to have a drink while I was trying to work out the technical difficulties, because they have come back.
No,
I'm still trying to figure out who was ranting. I mean, Jackie and I don't rant, right?
Thank you, Walter.
I mean, that wasn't quite right. There is something wrong about that introduction.
Y'all, to our listeners.
Brenda is going to fire all of us.
Yes, I am.
So y'all know that, don't you?
To our listeners.
I'll get a whole new staff.
To my listeners.
As far as that rant goes, I guess, Brenda, you just need to speak for yourself.
To my listeners, might I take a moment and apologize? Not that it's gonna motherfucking help, but I'm gonna apologize all the same. I have the most, maybe because they ain't motherfucking paid, I have the most rowdy, insubordinate staff of any show, TV, universe, Mars, America, anywhere. You see how they treat me. And now y'all sympathize with me, I'm sure. I am so sorry, all of you listeners that were getting on and enjoying it. I hate that y'all are missing this part right now, but get yourselves back in there as fast as you possibly can. and hopefully you'll catch some of the good shit. Okay, so back to tonight's subjects. Tonight's subjects. Melania, that's a condition, James Lambert says. I can't go to work today. I got the Melania. Oh, Lord, I can see a sign. When I get off air, y'all look for a sign on Facebook. I got to go make a sign. I got the Melania. Melania Trump. What had happened? No, it's not that. If you're going to steal, don't get caught. AKA, what had happened was. Okay. Then we're going to talk about the dump Trumpsters. At least they put up a good fight. Yeah, hats off to you, roof. And then...
No, they didn't put up a good fight. They just put up a fight.
Yeah. I added that, Jackie. That's not what you read.
Oh, okay. No,
that's not what you read.
Fight.
I was just trying to make them feel better, Jackie, because they are highly upset.
That is very kind of you.
Yeah. Jackie, you remind...
Even the they get rid of Trump. Sorry,
Jackie, you reminded me of the Elephant Man right there. That's very kind of you. Okay, and the next subject, roasting weenies over a dumpster fire. Trump channels Richard Nixon. Really? And then the 1968 replay. Okay, and we have the spontaneous public executions that we'll be talking about. Philando Castile shot dead by policemen for complying with the law. Alton Sterling shot dead by policemen for trying to make a living. Some citizens commit murder by cop, all because they were pissed off about the first two subjects. Okay.
By the way, remind me, we have an addition to this situation that just
Okay,
Okay.
very good. And Barry, I don't know, since you've been stuck in the library researching your shit. See, we not like Fox and those kind of people that just come out and just say anything. You know, the Donald Trumps of the world who just say anything, whatever come out. Barry has been at the library in Kansas City researching our topics today so he can talk about this shit and tell the truth. And Barry, I don't know if while you were in the library, whether you heard or not, that we got another black man down, a healthcare worker who was looking for
I checked on that one.
a severely autistic man in the streets of Miami, found him, trying to comfort him and bring him back to the center. I don't have the details of how it even started, but the videos that they're showing on TV, he's laying on the ground with his hands in the air. The autistic man is sitting there with his legs crossed or feet out, and the black man is laying very close to him, and they shot him in the leg. Why? He got on shorts and a loud green, lime green, glow in the dark T-shirt, and they shot him in the leg, and he's just laying there on the ground. So we got more shit to talk about, but let me start off the Melania Trump story by saying, Donald and I believe if you fuck with me, you stuck with me. Donald and I also believe when you are caught lying, lie some more. Now I will turn it over to my round table after that. Jackie, Walt, Bear, what y'all want to say about having a Melania?
Well, may I just go ahead and set this up for maybe those who don't know or hadn't heard or whatever.
Please do.
But the first night at the convention, is that right? Yeah, Melania was on the first night.
Yes.
Melania Trump gave a speech that was really well received by a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Now, I felt the speech in its totality was awesome. Mm-hmm. All right. But that's just me, because I was listening to the speech and watching her just kind of jump from one tagline to the other. Uh-huh. And I was thinking, this speech is a mess. Who wrote this shit? Right. And then, but there was a section of the speech that was beautiful when Melania started talking about the values that her parents taught her and the aspirations of young people throughout this country and the need for us to build a country that will allow them to be whatever they want to be. Mm-hmm. But after the speech was over, we found out that the best part of the speech wasn't even her speech. It was Michelle Obama's speech from 2008.
Say what?
So not only was the speech plagiarized, but it was plagiarized by Michelle Obama, the woman that they most love to hate, right next to Hillary Clinton.
Yes. Say it ain't so, Jackie.
What makes it, I'm going to make one more comment and then just open the floor, okay?
Okay.
And what has been best about this whole thing is how at first the Trump campaign it's not plagiarism. Those are common phrases. All right. Even though 22 out of 26 words in the first part of that were lifted directly from Michelle Obama's speech.
Verbatim.
And then
that means you said what she said.
Paragraph, it was 23 of 29 words were pulled directly from Michelle Obama's speech. But it was a plagiarism. And so that's what they came out doing the day after the speech. But then yesterday, they had some person who works for the Trump organization to come out and fall on her sword for this.
Yes.
So please, my colleagues, please give me your impressions of this event.
Well, this was just, for one thing, you have to, I know the RNC means the Republican National Convention, but I came up with the idea of calling it the Really Nutty Clusterfuck. This convention has been a slap that spectacle of B-list politicians and B-list celebrities for the title of the biggest embarrassment.
Did you say D-list?
And B-list politicians and Z-list. B is in Zorro. Zorro list celebrities. And I'm, but what it amounts to is you got, she showed that she was definitely a Z-list celebrity with that.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're talking about Melania Trump, Donald Trump's wife, and was she a pole dancer? No, she's a model. And, someone who had, her background, supposedly she had also graduated, had earlier said that she was a college graduate before she went into modeling, and come to find out she actually dropped out her freshman year. I just say that it was really just par for the course. I don't see her plagiarizing that speech being any different from anything else that's happened this week. So let's just put it in its proper context. This was a convention that Donald Trump promised us would be extremely entertaining and, would be the best convention that would take place. And he's managed to turn this into the King family, variety hour. That has just, like I said, just been a slapdash spectacle. Usually the nominee of the party, usually you don't see him until the very last night of the convention.
I believe Barack and the girls watched at home.
The very first night.
I believe Barack and the girls watched at home when Michelle gave that fantastic speech.
Yeah.
As it should have been.
They have turned it. It really has been. This whole thing is sadder than the Clint Eastwood empty chair thing that took place in 2012.
Yeah, there's a history of these things. If you go back to the famous Rudy Giuliani and Sarah Palin speeches back when, but the list somebody published the list of all the people who are invited to speak at this thing, and you didn't really have to attend the convention. The four of us could have written 2 paragraphs for everybody, and we would have gotten it pretty well right.
Yeah. I think we would have.
You mentioned Rudy Giuliani. And just the screaming that he did from the podium.
Yeah, he didn't make any sense at all.
Yes, he did, Walt. His whole point was, she's a witch. She's a witch.
Well, I think the thing about Melania, I think that, I'm glad that Barry mentioned that she was a college dropout, because if you were going to be generous, you could say that she was trying to do some postmodern inclusion in her speech, right? Sort of, people doing collages from stuff. But I guess she didn't understand what that was all about either, right? Because normally you do a little bit better.
I did not know it was wrong. I like Michelle Obama very much. I did not know it was wrong to take her speech. Here's my point, guys. I said, why did she do it anyway? What I could see her going and looking at Michelle Obama and then saying, now let me tell how my mama and my daddy raised me, the things that they taught me. Did she not have a story of her own to tell? Or if they teach you to
leave out the fact that she, she couldn't do that without mentioning her Russian pimp. So that was the reason why.
Wait a minute, say that again, please.
If she really told the truth about her upbringing, they had to, she'd have to bring up her, not just her parents, but the Russian pimp they sold her to. So,
yeah, Jackie. This is.
Wait a minute. Are you serious, Barry, or are you just making a joke?
I'm making a joke.
But Barry, I was thinking. But Barry, I want you to know I was thinking the same thing. What did her mama teach her? Hoeing or something? What was so bad that she couldn't tell her own story? Jackie and I can talk here for 2-3 hours of what my mother and her grandmother taught us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can give you all kinds of sayings of what my mother and Jackie's grandmother taught us that helped prepare us for this life. And I would be proud to tell my own story. I'm still scratching my head because I don't understand why this woman did not have her own story to tell. Why she had to steal Ivana's shit Michelle's shit in the first place. I'll never understand it. I thought she was going to come out there and talk about where she grew up and how she came to America and what America has done for her and her life, and
well, why anybody should vote for Donald Trump for that.
Yeah, all of this is what I thought the woman would prepare. And now we find that because only the Democrats have a real good message, and only Michelle and Barack, the president and first lady elect of 8 years, they're the only ones that had a story. I mean, I don't understand where her story is, unless her story was
Well, you also have to understand, too, there's a great possibility that explaining her story would have gone completely over the heads of the convention delegates. They're not, even they are not the brightest balls in the box.
No, they're not, Barry.
They kind of flow, and so you have to kind of read them around. And so I think what they were doing was taking them through the first and second grade reading level on Monday, and then trying to eventually, get more advanced.
But the
it don't work with them, but
the excuses they made were just nonsensical. She English is only her second language. She didn't have no problem reading. We understood her. Jackie, here's another point.
The other thing about it too, Brenda, is there's 2 points. One, every speech that anybody that gets up on that podium to make, every speech that the President of the United States makes, anytime somebody addresses a nation, even when they do when the opposition party does a response to the State of the Union address, they fail to realize the media has, the media gets copies of those speeches even before they get up on, before
That's
they
right.
open their mouth. And so,
and when they said that Ben Carson,
I don't have all the information on this, but there's my understanding, the person that pointed out the plagiarism was a black man who was a laid-off reporter for some major publication.
I
pointed out that she had lifted sections of Michelle Obama's DNC speech from 2008.
Well, Jackie had an interesting story that she told about this, and she said that this man was sitting listening to her speak, and then he said the next line with her. Isn't that what you told me, Jackie?
Yes, yeah. And that's when he realized it was from Michelle's speech. And in reference to this being Melania's English being her second language, or, I understand that she speaks several languages.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
This woman has lived in the United States for 20 fucking years.
Yes.
Do you hear me?
And
she's been living and working and interacting in the United States for 20 years, and the excuse is English is my second language. Let me live in any country for 20 years. I'll be speaking like a native, right?
Okay, Jackie.
So don't give me that.
I lived in Japan.
That is not an excuse.
I lived in Japan for 6 months, and I could go back there and still speak enough Japanese to get myself around.
Mm-hmm.
To catch a cab, to go to a restaurant, to order.
I'm going to bring up the fact that my oldest brother was stationed at Misawa Air Force Base, and is still married to the woman he met there back in the early 60s. He can still speak plenty Japanese.
Yeah, this is nonsensical, and the fact that they lied and lied and lied. Michelle Obama don't own the words honor and da-da-da and booby-doo. No, but as Chris Matthews said, when you sound like you are singing a duet.
Yes.
As they did.
Yeah, and it's not only that. I was saying to my husband, there are really not, if you think about it, there aren't a lot of ways. There are not a lot of different ways to get kicked out of college, okay? There are only a handful of things you can do to get kicked out, all right? But plagiarism is one of the things that you can do to get kicked out of school.
Get an F.
Which reminds me, on social media when this was being discussed, I'll never forget somebody since he party bringing up the issue. They had to deflect from this to try to, well, Martin Luther King, it's found out Martin Luther King plagiarized parts of his doctoral piece. And I had to explain to him, there's no reason. I said, this is about Melania Trump speaking before the world, because her husband wants to be president of the United States. And by the way, Martin Luther King is dead.
Yes.
So that has nothing to do with, you can't turn around. I said, you're bringing an argument. Here you are with the party that talks about personal responsibility.
There you go.
You're flatly refusing. You've got a candidate, you've got the candidate's wife, you've got a party, and now you've got his base who is showing us that is not a concept you believe in.
And Jackie, and then the one.
This is something else. You will constantly make excuses and try to blame somebody else for the move that you make.
And then Jackie, Miss McIver, that threw.
They always want to be in charge, but they never want to be responsible.
And Miss McIver,
you have to be responsible.
You must be. And and Barack Obama has always said that whenever something comes up at the White House and it didn't go so well, he always steps to the podium and says, the blame is mine. They work for me, the blame is mine. Now, Jackie, here's another part of the lie of Miss McIver throwing herself on the sword. She called me, she read it to me, I jotted down her speech, and then I went, who the fuck does that anymore? Jackie, we've got scanners, we've got fax machines, we've got email, we've got texts. She could take
not only that, even if you can't type, you can speak your words into your device. And
into your damn device. Yeah. I've got the Samsung S7 Edge, and I just tap the microphone. Somebody texts me and say, hey, Brenda, you up? I text back, yeah, but don't fuck with me. And I text it back in voice. Because I can't see without my glasses. Wait, Barry. I can't see. Wait, Barry. I can't see without my glasses, Jackie. But I can see. I can find the microphone. And I just hold my finger, whichever finger I want on it, and text back, yeah, but I ain't up. Don't fuck with me yet. This didn't make any sense, Jackie. I graduated in 1983 from Massey Business College. I was writing shorthand at 120 words a minute. Now, are you telling me that most folks are still practicing that?
No.
Would I take shorthand at Massey Business College now? I don't think so, Jackie. We didn't have a computer in the room then. Yeah. I graduated writing 120 words a minute. Who in the hell would call? She, with her broken English, is going to call this woman, supposedly broken English. I understood her perfectly the other night. Calls Miss McIver and reads her speech to her.
Brian, hold up. Go ahead, Barry.
The thing I'm looking at is this. With all the free publicity Donald Trump got during the primary, now that he's the nominee, he has to know that any and everything he and he and his campaign does is going to be under even more scrutiny. We're still before the general election.
Well, we hope so.
If he sticks his nose on camera, they are going to talk about it. And it's going to be the same thing with Melania, same thing with Donald Jr. and Eric and Ivanka and the other daughter. If you can't sit up and handle the fact that, they're going to be watching this. And I mean, and not only that, you've got correspondence from all the networks, all the publications and what have you, sitting right there looking down your throat. Mm-hmm. And they've got a copy of what you're going to say, mm-hmm. and for you to get defensive about something you screwed up, mm-hmm.
Now
you want people to vote for you. You want people to hire you to run this country. Mm-hmm. I mean, it makes no sense. You know, I mean, just do it right the first time.
Mm-hmm. Well, but Barry, they can't because they have a shoestring operation. And Donald Trump, who does not want to spend what little money he has left, just believes that he can do it on this shoestring operation in spite of all political professionals telling him you can't. You need the RNC's database. You need the RNC's money. We got to help folks down ballot. We got to help Republicans down ballot. You can't do it like this. You got to help. We got to get money, and he just won't listen. And he will be the same feckin' way if he becomes president. You can't tell, as my mother used to say, that hard-headed sap sucker nothing, because he is used to running every damn thing. And I don't know about anybody else, but I pray to God that we do not have to face having Donald Trump as a president. Y'all sit here, want to gamble. He calls himself the king of debt. How he's going to step away from NATO, how he's going to renegotiate our debt. And if they don't like the terms that he gives to these other countries, he just won't pay them. Y'all, this is a dangerous, dangerous road. Remember when the Republicans, Jackie, did this shit before and got us downgraded?
Yeah, but I mean, don't you really think that? I mean, spending all this time on talking about Donald Trump's whatever his wife, his daughter, and all this kind of stuff is kind of a waste of time. I mean, what do you expect? These are what people call hallmark moments, right? You come out and they do these speeches, and you know, I can't see getting excited about it because it just shows what kind of a campaign they have. You know,
yeah,
which is
kind of a non-campaign they have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you know, and let's move on to something else. There's other kind of important things happening out there, right?
Well, I agree with you, Walt, but it had to be talked about.
All he's doing is just leaving.
Yeah, but that's the thing. This whole exercise has been like a very long episode of Jerry Seinfeld. You know.
Exactly. No, that's true, right?
It's a campaign about nothing. Yeah, it's all about absolutely nothing, except for, you know, the angst and fears of a segment of a paranoid segment of the population. I mean, that is it. This is not about anything.
It really is unimportant.
Graham said earlier in the year that really rings true right now, and I can't believe I'm saying this about Lindsey Graham. But one of the things that he said after he dropped out of the presidential race is that we have real big issues to tackle. And what the presidential election, you know, what the primary, the Republican primary is just a shame and a shambles, because we need to step up and deal with this shit.
Mm-hmm. And Walt,
and the whole thing, just like everybody's saying, it's a reality TV show.
Yeah.
The whole fucking thing.
And Walt,
and on the other hand, you know, the other thing is that Americans have this American exceptionalism business going on, and when people outside the country look at this, you know, what impression does it give you? I mean, the Chinese are going to have the G20 there in September. I mean, you know, that's kind of more important.
Well, you know, the Republicans The Republicans continue
then the Trump speech. I mean, Trump's got the nomination. We know it's a useless organization. The question is whether he's going to get enough, be able to work on people's fears enough, or do whatever to get elected, which is unlikely, but could happen, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You know, but I mean, you know, what happened at the convention? I mean, what did you expect? I mean, it's like going to a bad party.
We're getting
the reason the show is entitled "Riding a Rolling Catastrophe" is because early in the year, when it began to look like Trump was going to actually win the nomination, I said I cannot wait for their convention because it's going to be a rolling catastrophe.
We all said it, and we did expect exactly what we're getting, Walt. But we have to talk about this stuff because somebody needs to talk about these lies that are being told, especially on Hillary Clinton. They have been telling these lies on them. They've even said they've murdered people. You know, it was such a shame as they pray and talk about God, country, family, and then sit there and call her a witch. And she, Ben Carson. You wanna elect somebody as president who acknowledges Lucifer? Say, well, now listen. Now listen, you listen. The Rachel Maddow them said that they had his speech before he went on stage, as we just discussed. That the press gets these speeches before they ever take the podium. They said they had his speech, and he went completely over the rails, off the rails, and under the rails, and started talking and started talking about you wanna elect somebody for president that acknowledges Lucifer. Well, according to the Bible, he existed. So I acknowledge Lucifer my damn self. He exists. I don't want to be a part of. But look, these people. Chris Christian, he's guilty or not guilty. All I could see was, she's a witch. That's all I could see. This was...
But it's really bad. I'm going to say it's really bad. It's really sad when all you have to do is mention somebody's name and it elicits laughter.
Yes.
As soon as you said Ben Carson.
Yeah, y'all cracked up. And I hadn't even cracked a joke on him. Y'all just cracked up. But for the last 2 or 3 years, that's all he's given you. Yeah.
He's been one big walking punchline.
Mm-hmm. Listen, Barry, all I could do was sit there and stare at him and think of the article that Charles Blow wrote. Jackie, who does Charles Blow work for?
New York Times.
New York Times. Charles Blow wrote an article last year from the book of Where Do They Find These Niggas? That's all I could think of. That is all I could think of. Every Negro that took that podium talking about Hillary Clinton and standing out there before the white folks. just a wailing. We know how she loves pantsuits, but we know she ought to be in an orange jumpsuit. Hallelujah. It was just, I said, from the book of...
but the nasty thing about Ben Carson was, like, in these debates, like, when you turn on Barbara and I were watching, they say, like, the first sentence out of his mouth doesn't sound bad. It just keeps going downhill, right?
Listen, I promise you.
Remember how he looked into the camera and he kind of gave you figure, well, this first sentence, maybe he's going somewhere with this, but it never right?
Y'all, they can come out about the Lord and Jesus. Our religious freedoms are being trampled, and then hate her and burn her. When the fuck? I said, well, they killed Jesus. I said, well, Brenda, they killed Jesus. They killed Jesus. So, Brenda, you should not be shocked at the hatred coming out of these people that call themselves religious and free, and they are worried about their religious freedom, and Barack Obama and them taking their guns. It's just a lie from the pit of hell.
Here's what the best analysis I can give. First of all, whenever Republicans come on social media and want to talk about why black folks want to keep voting Democrat, and then they bring up people like Sheriff David Clark or Ben Carson or Herman. I said, look, let's get y'all. I'm just telling you, y'all need to understand. We gave them to y'all for entertainment purposes.
For entertainment purposes only.
Barry, say that again, Barry. We
know we can't take them serious. So, because we've already, I said, as it is, the convention is just what I call it, a really nutty clusterfuck. Mm-hmm. But these people are the true entertainment,
Here's what I want to say, Barry.
You thought you had Stephen Cratchit, but actually he was a lot smarter than that. He's playing. He's supposed to not play.
Here's what I'm grateful for, y'all. That I was not a slave on a plantation with Ben Carson. Because I would have been putting thorns in that nigga's food every day.
Oh, man.
Oh, gosh. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, let's go. Jackie has done research, y'all. Let's go to her next topic. The Dump Trumpsters, Jackie. At least they put up a fight. Well, tell me something about them. Tell us.
Oh, well, the convention did start with an effort by the Never Trump faction of the party to have a roll call vote on the rules. And apparently they, did follow the rules of the convention, and they got enough state delegations to sign petitions to have a roll call vote. And they were basically just steamrolled by the Trump faction. And Ken Cuccinelli, who was the Attorney General of the state of Virginia when Bob McDonnell was governor, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the leaders of this, along with Michael Lee of Utah and the Colorado delegation and a few others, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he was just, they were referring to the Trump forces as jackboots and fascists and all of this other stuff. And I was like, oh, this is getting awfully interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But, they did, steamroll them and treated them real bad. And then after that, Mr. Trump and
the party of Lincoln?
Chairman.
The party of Lincoln? Treated them bad? The party of Lincoln treated them badly?
Yeah, treated them real badly. And then after that, came out and laughed at the Dump Trump people and talked about them. We crushed them. Oh, my goodness.
And they had one woman on TV, Jackie. She said that she went to the bathroom and some ladies cornered her in there and told her she should die.
Yeah.
It's bad. Listen, if they are Christians, Jackie, I want to stay as far away from them because Christians kill Jesus.
Well, look, it's not just that, Brenda. It is just that if this is the way they treat each other,
mm-hmm.
how in God's name can we expect them to treat the rest of us any better?
Well, Jackie, slavery was founded by some great Christian folks, and they believed that they had a right to these slaves, and nobody could whoop a slave's ass and torture them better than the Christians. And then they read the Bible to them after whooping their ass to death.
Yeah.
So these people are scary.
I just have to say that the optics of this convention have just been bad. And they keep talking about the strategists, and those people keep talking about the pivot. They need to pivot. There's no place for them to pivot to, darling.
No.
Because the tail is wagging the dog. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mary.
Yeah, I was going to say that, you were talking earlier, I don't know if it was you or Walter was talking about what people outside of this country think of the American exceptionalism. I say, well, yeah, if they only look at the Republican Party, they could say Americans are exceptionally stupid.
Yes, absolutely.
Because this stuff couldn't happen without the voters making it happen.
That is true.
When the loudest voice in the room ain't got the sense God gave a straight pen.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, God gave a straight pen. I like it too.
Yes. Yes. I guess you have a good point there, Barry. Because
I wasn't. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I don't want to be insubordinate here, but how about time? Don't we have to move on to this this other subject?
I don't believe that this is about the show. Are you trying to meet another woman or something?
No.
Online?
I just want to going here.
Well, I will control the web.
I don't know too many outlaws.
I will control.
I kind of want to, I know we got kicked
well,
off.
Like you said, at the
about
risk,
8 times, right? But,
at the risk of being insubordinate.
I got to hear the story,
At the risk of being insubordinate, I'm gonna tell you, your risk just paid off, and I'm gonna talk to you later. I'm gonna fire you for tomorrow, and I'll get you back for next week. But as of right now, you fired till tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'll see you next week. Now, okay, so Jackie, let's go to roasting weenies over a dumpster fire. Trump channels Richard Nixon. Really?
Yeah, well, we talked about this before, and that simply is that Trump is very unabashedly admitting to modeling his campaign after Richard Nixon's 1968 campaign. And, that goes along with the next topic, too, the 1968 replay. That they're using the same strategy, the same tactics, even the same language. If you want to talk about plagiarism, I am the law and order candidate,
Yeah.
I mean, it is the same stuff. And to me, that is truly terrifying.
Well, Jackie, before that, he fashioned it after Hitler. Remember the thing that you sent me, and Hitler's theme was "Make Germany Great Again," and it went down the list of 10 or 12 things that Hitler said, and Donald Trump was repeating them, just putting America in the place of Germany.
Yes.
And he talked about
if I weren't fired.
You would say what?
I were fired, yeah.
I kind of point out that just before we got on air, I looked at that speech that Laura Ingraham made, and that I guess Barry probably saw this on Facebook too. That the headline is that she sort of tried to do a Nazi salute and she forgot. She did it, and then she sort of started waving to the crowd after she finished her speech, and people picked up on that right away because she had her arm extended out exactly like what you see in the documentary.
Oh my God.
And he promised us, y'all.
Take a look at it. It's on Facebook.
And Jackie, he promised us. I believe it was one of the interviews that he had with Chris Matthews, or maybe Chuck Todd, where he promised us that yes, he would have squads out. I said, so the SS, he's going to form some kind of SS, and he's going to send them out to round up all the illegal immigrants. I talked to one of our famous friends yesterday, Jackie, our friend Pete, and I haven't spoken to yes, and I haven't spoken to him in a long time, except for on Facebook. But he called me, and I said, "What do you think about your nominee?" And he said, Brenda, I think that Trump will do more for black people. I said, "Oh, Pete, shut up! Don't tell me. Come on." He's a smart man. How can this be? I said, "Okay, Pete, we want you to come on and defend yourself if you don't get stoned to death on the show." But I couldn't do it because I went off on a tangent yelling at him yesterday. You really don't believe this motherfucker can be? So I let him slide.
Should have brought him on. Should have brought him on and let me have him.
Well, even though Pete is a confused black Republican, I don't want you to tear him apart, Barry, and you would have no mercy on him.
Well, look, that gives me an opportunity to direct my anger where it needs to go, so that other people are not collateral damage.
Okay, Jackie. So, y'all, we're gonna take a short break. We're gonna come back and finish up in the next 30 minutes. If my insubordinate employees don't raise any hell, but y'all know we've been off the air for quite some time. We had a lot to talk about, and we can't leave without talking about Philando Castile. We cannot leave without talking about Alton Sterling. And as we come back to finish up, Jackie will start with the 1968 replay, and then we will finish up, and then I'll ask everybody what they've learned today. Okay? All right. So let's get ready to hear from, I love Nina Simone, and this show is perfect for all of her revolutionary songs. All right, so let's get ready to check out Nina Simone, but not before I say you are listening to Let's Talk About It, I am the wild and wonderful Brenda White, and joining me to talk about it and always helping to keep you informed is the uppity and well-read Jacqueline Lambert, aka Miss Uppity Speaks. And joining Jackie and I, or Jackie and me, I beg your pardon, is the professor of the blues himself from the Université of Montreal in Montreal, Canada, Professor Walter Dubille. And joining Jackie and Walt and me is KKFI-FM's very own Funkmeister out of Kansas City, Missouri, the one and only, the most timed out member of Facebook, my friend Barry K. Jackson. Okay, so y'all stick around, stick and stay right here at the #1 broadcasting network on the net, and that is Spreaker.com, and we'll be right back to finish up. Welcome to the chat room, the daytime diva herself and my friend CPG and DJ Tony Sanchez. All right, y'all, we'll be right back.
I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all chains still binding me. Yeah. Wish I could say all the things that I can say when I'm relaxed. I'd be starting anew. I wish I could be like a bird in the sky. Don't leave me. How sweet it would be to find that I could fly. I'd soar to the sun and look down at the sea. Then I'd sing, 'cause I know how it feels to be free. And then I'd sing, 'cause I know how it feels to be free. I wish I could share all the love that's in my heart. Wish I could break all the things that bind us apart. Wish you could know what it means to be me. And you'd see, you'd agree, everybody should be free, 'cause if we ain't, we're murderous. Wish I could be like a bird in the sky. How sweet it would be if I could find that I could fly, soar to the sun, look down and see me. I know, yes, I know. Oh yeah. it's moving now. I know, got news for you, I already know. Jonathan Livingston Seagull ain't got nothing on me. Free, 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 free. I'm free, and I know it. Don't wanna be and I show it, but I'm still free. Believe in me, it's alright. And sing, 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 'cause I would know. I already know. Found out how it feels not to be chained to anything, to any race, to any faith, to anybody, to any creed, to any hopes, to any.
Oh yes, oh yes.
I know how it feels to be free.
Oh, the great Nina Simone live at the Montreux Blues Festival 1976. How it feels to be free, which white folks know a whole lot about. No matter how they tell you they ain't free and they've lost their freedoms. These are code words for niggas ain't in the fields.
But wait a minute, are you sure that was Nina Simone, or was that Zoe Saldana in blackface?
That was the great, late great Nina Simone, Barry. Don't you start. Okay, so Jackie, let's go to the 1968 replay, please.
All right. Well, we talked already about Trump very conspicuously and unapologetically modeling his campaign after Richard Nixon's campaign of 1968. But the other thing that we have to talk about that is reminiscent of 1968 is the civil unrest in the country at this time. And about how now, in 1968, they were talking about police brutality, but they didn't really have all of the video, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, of course, nowadays, with all this new technology that we have, many of these spontaneous public executions that the police have been carrying out for decades are now on video and being streamed live online.
Mm-hmm.
And so we know that a young man by the name of Philando Castile was murdered in Minnesota because of his trying to comply with the law,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Doing what the police officer asked him to do.
Mm-hmm.
And he was shot dead in his car in front of his fiancée and her 4-year-old daughter.
And he was shot more than once, was he not, Jackie?
Yes.
In his seatbelt. Oh.
He just unloaded on him. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe they said 5 times. It was just amazing.
Yes. All right. And the reason that he was stopped at first, of course, the cop said that he had a busted taillight. But later on, we come to find out that, well, no, someone had committed an armed robbery, and Philando Castile generally fit the suspect's description.
Yeah.
Black guy with braids, right?
Yeah. Right.
It was more like all of y'all look alike.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
exactly.
that's the whole thing.
And so there has been a firestorm about that. And then, of course, subsequent to Philando Castile's murder, a man named Alton Sterling was shot dead by police in Baton Rouge for selling CDs in front of a convenience store.
Where he had worked for 6 years.
Right, something he had been doing for years, right? Mm-hmm. Now, both of these men who were shot, both of them had firearms, right? Mm-hmm. But they were both in open carry states, and they both were legal. Mr. Castile had his permit, so on and so forth. But they were exercising their Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms, mm-hmm. but they were still shot dead, okay, by police officers. And what I found interesting about that is that the NRA didn't jump up to defend them and their Second Amendment rights. So now, for those people who didn't know, okay, mm-hmm. The NRA is only interested in Second Amendment rights for people who are not members of minority communities. Okay? Mm-hmm. So anyway, these killings, of course, have given rise to a lot of protests by the Black Lives Matter movement, which is the 21st century version, right, mm-hmm. of the civil rights movement from the 1960s.
Right. And
they are being called a hate group.
Yes.
Just like they talked about the civil rights activists in the 1960s.
Yep.
And it is amazing to me how there are so many parallels between these times and 1968.
Yeah, I can't believe that we're back there, Jackie, you know? Yeah. And as one of the news reporters said that I blame Donald Trump for half of this violence.
Oh, yeah.
Because he is stirring the pot, and they are constantly, I don't know how any Black person can support him. He's stirring this pot, and this hatred is just, they are just oozing at the mouth with so much hatred. And then he'll talk about killing folks and how he gonna kill them and how he gonna torture them, and then we're all about love. We're all about love. I said, this man is not only a sociopath and a narcissist and all that, he fucking crazy.
Yeah, but now I also wanted to point out some other differences, a couple of differences between now and 1968.
Okay.
You know, one of the things that has happened is that some people have started shooting back at the cops. Mm-hmm. The one that really depresses me, and I know that you shouldn't do these things as a matter of degree,
right?
But in Dallas, Texas, okay, they have a Black police chief who has done a marvelous job there, right? Mm-hmm. A marvelous job. And 5 police officers were killed at the end of a Black Lives Matter protest, and the officers that were killed were doing their jobs and trying to protect the lives of the people who were there. Mm-hmm. I mean, when one of the people who was shot, this Black woman who was there with her son, right? Mm-hmm. That she saw 2 of the police officers killed, you know, in front of her eyes. Mm-hmm. And those cops were trying to protect her and her son.
Yeah.
And when I saw her interview, that just, oh my God, it just breaks your heart, okay? And you think about how all of these families who have suffered these losses, whether they are police officers' families or Black motorists' families, mm-hmm. the loss is the same.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes, Jackie, we do understand.
And what this says to me is that it is not just violence against unarmed or armed, but nonviolent Black men, right? Mm-hmm. Or violence against police officers just doing their job. It is violence in this country. Mm-hmm. It is the fact that in these open carry states. Well, for instance, in Dallas, it is amazing that more civilians didn't get shot just because there were protesters out there with their long guns. Right? Mm-hmm. And so somebody started shooting. You've seen dudes out there with their AR-15s. You're a cop. Who are you supposed to shoot at?
Okay. Yeah. And Jackie, this is what this is inviting this to. This open carry. You know, you don't know. This guy probably walked right past the police and got himself in position because they want you to have the right so bad to carry a gun on the street. I want my gun in my home. I really do. But I don't want to go to Walmart with it. And I don't want to see you at Walmart with it. Because, you know, you could get a phone call and a bitch flip out, you know? Yeah. And so this is the problem. And as I've tried to explain to several people here in Arkansas, some of my beautiful white friends, okay, you want everybody to have a gun. You want it to be like the Wild Wild West again. This is what you're going to get. And it's so sad all around I know we all got to die. But how you go and, you know, kind of matters, especially when you go in such a sad, sad way. And it didn't have to happen. We need to vet these police officers more. They need to get some real psychological going over. Make them take a lie detector test, too. Have you ever said nigga? Do you hate niggas? Do you want to kill niggas?
Well, but Brenda, you know, the thing about that is that, you know, they do have psychological testing for cops.
I'm talking about doubling up on
it's my understanding that it only identifies, like, you know, people with real, like, what do you call that? So, not psychoses, but, you know, that are, like, clinically...
real, some real shit going on.
There are tests that can be done that have been developed for implicit bias, right? Mm-hmm. And that is something that we all have in us, okay? Mm-hmm. But it is a matter of degree, right? Mm-hmm. And if you are so afraid of black people, you should not be a police officer.
That's right.
And you certainly should not be a police officer policing black community.
Because, Jackie, in most cases, police officers will negotiate with bank robbers, with kidnappers, with all sorts of shit, with bombs strapped to them. They are talking. But these police officers that have killed, and there have been over 500 black men and women killed in a year or two by these renegade police officers. And, you know, there's just something that has to be done. Tyler Perry said that he's been pulled over many times and he was frightened. My son, which I did not know, said that he had been pulled over many times and he was frightened. And he was telling me that he was going to get a gun because Florida was becoming this open carry state. I said, Dennis, please don't. You know, I would rather have you with no gun and maybe some sick cop may kill you, but I would rather have it that way than them having to tell a lie on you because, see, you got a temper too. You were military too. And once you fire that bullet or pull that gun, you can't take it back. And not having a gun is, you know, having a gun makes it no safer for you.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. I think it's, you know,
and I'm
really amazed that there are such lax, you know, rules in the United States and a lot of states, and because you know, basically, when I grew up in New York State, I didn't see anybody with guns except hunters, and
right, and during hunting
here's
season,
the same situation. But what would scare me is, I mean, I'll give you an example that, you know, obviously in a police situation when you're stopped by a cop, whether you're white or black, the guy is in the position of the guy who stops you, or the lady who stops you, because we have a lot of female cops here. They're in a position of authority, right? Mm-hmm. And so basically everything is on their side. You're in some sense defenseless against them. Just like, for example, if you go through the border patrol, the customs, right? You're at the mercy of the person who's in front of you, no matter what.
That's right.
Okay, so you have to have people obviously who are trained in that kind of thing. And it's probably very difficult to really do a completely safe situation and not have people who have some kind of prejudice or some kind of violent temper or whatever. It's always going to be somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that leads to tough. But I find the whole thing what you said is true about this gun situation because I'll give you a simple example. A lady on Facebook who is a friend because she was a friend of somebody in music writes, how happy she is to go into the local grocery store, to Walmart or whatever, and have her gun under her bra so that in case anybody ever comes,
Mm-hmm.
to get her family, that she can protect herself. And so you're figuring like you're in line at the local grocery store, right? And what do you want? The last thing you want is to have some lady behind you pull out her gun and start shooting, right?
Yeah. Because here's the problem with that. Civilians are not trained in those situations.
Exactly.
And you think you're going to be safer. The only person, as Donald Trump is, the only thing that's better than a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. But the guys that are trained in these situations, you'd be better off just letting them have the guns. A civilian is not trained.
Yeah, and the other thing is the fear factor. I mean, Jackie's always pointed this out too. If you walk into the store and let's say, you're a white person and you have this sort of, prejudice against black people and something happens.
And somebody knocked a lemonade jar off the counter and busted on the floor, and she turns around and hears the sound and just kill you because you already afraid. Let me say this, with all of the white people in my life, like Walt, that I love and admire.
Wait a minute.
I know there are many of you. I know there are many of you that hear me when I start talking about white folks like I hate them. I don't. My husband was white, and I love him to this day. But there are really. I mean, we've got black people who hate white people too, but I'm not one of them. And my family we were never raised to be one of them. And I don't have a fear of white people. Listen, they drunk. Listen, they with the white supremacists, then I'm scared, because y'all got a reputation. But, y'all got your crazy ones, and we got some crazy ones too. So we had 2 intelligent black men trained by the U.S. military come out now and start killing your policemen, our policemen, and saying we're going to even the score just a little bit. Y'all keep killing our black men. See, this is the problem, people, with all of this. Everybody get to bring their gun out. And I tell you, I believe that when it's all said and done, they are going to see that the Dallas shooter walked right past people.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
With his gun. Because y'all want everybody to be able to carry.
As it relates to the shootings of the police officers and what have you, I got a very interesting phone call about a week after I went, here in Kansas City, One Struggle KC, which is the Kansas City chapter of Black Lives Matter. We had a gathering a week ago Sunday, so that black folks and white folks could just express how they felt about all of the gun violence between civilians and officers. And they made, there's one group of people who have to be predominantly white who are part of they have their own, it's a separate organization. I can't remember the name of it, but we asked, Black Lives Matter group asked them, we need you all, we had breakout sessions. When we came back together, they wanted white folks just to listen. Now, and I'm gonna tell you, these are some folks who fully understand what was going on, but they wanted to hear how black folks are processing all of this. And then a few days later, I get a phone call from after the young man Gavin Long killed those 3 police officers in Baton Rouge. I had a call from a TV news reporter who asked me what I knew about Gavin Long. And I asked, well, why are you asking me? well, you're with Black Lives Matter. I said, I don't like the implication of your question.
Exactly.
You know,
why should I know?
Black Lives Matter has made public statements after all of these incidents, from the one where the 2 officers in New York were killed, ambushed and killed, you know, and everything. So we do not condone, we do not plan, we do not discuss, we do not approve, we do not have anything to do with any retaliation against police officers.
And Black Lives Matter movement will have open.
Brenda, hold up.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mary.
You know, and I just said, you know, I had to express it, you know, and this is a Fox affiliate, local Fox affiliate, and you know, I said, it's just sad that you would have, you know, that, you know, the media, you folks in the media are just as complicit in maintaining all of this confusion about who Black Lives Matter is and what's really happening with you know, with these shootings. And, you know, it's unfair to us. I mean, we keep trying, you know, how much more do we have to do to show you we have nothing to do with these police officers?
And if you're right, you are welcome to join. You are welcome to join the Black Lives Matter movement. Okay, if you are white, Hispanic, whatever, you are welcome to join the Black Lives Matter movement. It is not about being black. It's about bringing attention to all of these murders of these black men and women, like Sandra Bland supposedly hung herself in a jail cell with a garbage bag.
Something here too. The thing that really annoys me about, like, when Rudy Giuliani gave his speech at the Republican convention, you know, and how when Bill O'Reilly and Sean Hannity talk about Black Lives Matter being a hate group, what they're telling black people is to sit down, shut up, and take this shit.
Yeah.
How are you a hate group for pointing out that someone is abusing you? How are you a hate group for pointing out that murders are being committed against people in your community and there is no accountability by anyone for these murders?
Come on, Jackie.
Yeah.
Now, see, and that's what bothers me the most, that we would even have the temerity to mention it.
Yeah, and most... And
so
most,
you don't have to call it a hate group. You know, it's not about a hate group. It's about self-love and self-protection. And what the police, I'm hoping, are beginning to understand is that as every time a black man is murdered, and that murder goes unpunished, whether it be by a civilian or a police officer, they are less safe.
That's right. You're going to have some black men sitting still.
I just want to point out one thing to you guys about, and don't scream, Barry. But there was an excellent column posted on the website Red State. I mean, who tend to be like right-wing psychos on Red State, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this man named Leon H. Wolf, who is a columnist for Red State, on July the 8th, wrote a column entitled "The Uncomfortable Reason Why It Came to This in Dallas Yesterday." Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And in his column, now this is super right wing, okay? He said that the only thing that makes the situation even a little bit tenable is the vast majority of people never think about confronting or challenging a police officer, okay? And where he gets that from is something I talk about all the time, is that there are not enough police to police us all.
Mm-hmm.
And the point that he makes is that there are 376 police officers per 100,000 citizens, you know, or in other words, one police officer per every 266 citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Right.
So just like I always say, if only like 1 or 2% of the American population decided that they were going to, you know, riot and be anarchists, there's not shit the cops can do about it. Because there are not enough of them. What gives us a peaceful society is the willingness of people to live within the bounds of the law. And what this man writes about in his article, he says, is that the reason that this can work in our country, so few police officers per citizen, is that citizens believe, A, that they live in a society that is basically just, B, they believe that the few policemen who do exist will be there to protect them if something goes wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And C, they have faith commits a crime against them, they will be caught and punished.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asked, but now white parents, that's what they can teach to their children, but black parents cannot. And so he says, what do you expect to happen if you are constantly being murdered and abused by the people who are supposedly sworn to serve and protect you,
Mm-hmm.
and those people are not held accountable for their actions? What options are left to you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the other question I had to ask this reporter, I said, I just pointed out to you too. How did she ask? Well, what do you mean that the media is complicit in the chaos involved? I said, well, let's face it. When a police officer is shot and killed, you hear what a great father he was.
Mm-hmm.
That he served his country in the military. He's been with the force for X number of years, and that type of thing. When an unarmed black person is murdered by a police officer,
Mm-hmm.
we're finding out that they may or may not have had a record.
Mm-hmm.
They, which had nothing to do with the stop in question that took place. That encounter that took place. Also, whether or not they had marijuana in their system. And we find out, I said, and what you've done, I said, and this has been going on ever since Emmett Till was murdered.
That's right.
They blamed Emmett Till for his murder. What was brought up? Oh, he had pictures, it was, supposedly Emmett Till was murdered because he whistled at a white woman. Well, they had to bring up the fact that he may or may not have had, he allegedly had pictures of naked white women in his wallet. I said, the continual criminalization of the victim,
Yes.
that you all, I said, your reporting is just inherently biased.
Yes.
And I said, so I can understand why you would call me. And first of all, what you're telling me is that all of us know each other and all of us are alike.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I said, and that's offensive.
And what did the reporter say, Barry?
Well, she just kind of stayed silent. Then she said, well, wait a minute, I got another call. And she put me on hold and then she hung up.
Yeah, no need in talking to this ego.
So your comments weren't, okay, Barry, wait, I just want to clarify this. So your comments were not on the news that evening?
No.
So let me say this in
Also,
some.
we had just about a month and a half ago, we had an incident where I live on a busy boulevard, and sadly there was a car being chased by several patrol cars. It was a red SUV, and I remember hearing a gunshot before the car actually went past my house.
Oh.
And so it turned out it was 5 people and a child in a stolen vehicle that had already been involved in one previous crime.
Okay.
Apparently they would chase them that day because they had just robbed one of those cell phone stores.
Okay.
And they caught them, but they blocked off the street so they could find the shell case.
Okay.
And so this Fox affiliate sent a photographer out and another TV station, and they wanted to talk to people, on the block about what they saw and what happened. I said, well, I told them I didn't see the gunshot, but I heard it.
Mm-hmm.
Saw the vehicle, and I saw several patrol cars and a couple of paddy wagons following, chasing. And they stopped them about 8 blocks south of here, and arrested everybody. And the reporter for the ABC affiliate, the local ABC affiliate, said, "It was a pretty rough neighborhood here." I said, "No rougher than anywhere else with the proliferation of guns and
And when someone gets there
without a permit,
and when someone gets into their head
training,
to kill somebody,
and so my point is that interview didn't make it on TV either.
yeah, and so
calling you,
and so
you don't do better.
That was a situation where it was the scene of everything was right there in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
I just walked up to the media on that.
Well, let me say it.
But what they did put on the street, on the air, was a couple of black women who were extremely dramatic, one of them tried to say, well, this was going on, and these people were shooting at the cops, and this little boy, there's a man that's showing his son how to ride a bike. And I looked at that, and I said, really? This kid's riding a bike like a pro, for one thing. And they're riding up and down the street for the last 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And it was on the other side of the median anyway. It's a very wide street, I said, now, we could be bad shots now, don't get me wrong. Supposed to go errant, but they were shooting directly behind them. Yeah, this child was way over on the other side of the street. So he wasn't in nearly as much danger as these people trying to make it, but it was just the idea they would put these buffoons on TV. There's somebody who can talk reasonably, talk reasonably, and, they couldn't handle that. But I just said, no. I said, well, let's face it. You've got killings going on over in the suburbs. Yes.
And so let me say, as we get ready to close, in summary of all of these killings and so on and so forth, here at Let's Talk About It, Jackie, Barry, Walt, and myself, we, like the majority of the people in this nation, do not believe in violence, period, of any kind. But we do believe in the right for you to stand up for yourself. Power to Black Lives Matter, civil rights movements of all types that are peaceable. Also, in summary, let me say, we don't agree with cops killing anyone that they're supposed to be protecting for no reason at all, and nor do we condone anyone killing cops. But I understand it. It's a terrible thing. And that's why we had better get back into talking, training, whatever it needs, or your loved ones are going to be the next one, whether he be a cop or a civilian.
I just want to reiterate one more time. Somebody very high profile, and two things. One, I'm not surprised that a lot of this stuff has cropped up, especially since after the backlash from after Jesse Williams' acceptance speech at the BET.
Oh, I know. Was that a beautiful thing? That was a beautiful thing.
Because he basically told us that if you're not really that concerned about our situation, don't try to bring us any solution. The other person that spoke up, I just saw a video on this just yesterday. Iconic musician Stevie Wonder was speaking at a music festival over in England. Mm-hmm. And he said that, I'm not going to give you all of what he said, except to say that, look, we are all the same. Mm-hmm. And he said, I support Black Lives Matter. Mm-hmm. If you have a problem with me supporting Black Lives Matter, I don't give a fuck.
Ooh. and as someone shared with me, Guy Baselli, DJ Guy Baselli here at Spreaker.com, shared with me on my page this week, and I thought it was the most beautiful thing. Black Lives Matter and police officers, I don't remember the city, but they came together in this park at this big to-do, and the police got in line and did the stepping dances with them, and white and black together. It was a beautiful thing. As we here at Let's Talk About It all believe that we are one. Thus, our theme song, We Are One, written by the great Brenda Lee Ager, written, sang, and produced by her. We really believe in that song. And once again, we thank Brenda for giving it to us and allowing us to use it here as our theme song as we deal with these very sensitive issues. But I want to say to you that Black folks are a whole lot more afraid of white police officers and have a very good reason to be. I don't understand why. Well, I understand now why police officers would be more frightened of Black men, because at this point, they are fed up. And it better be some understanding, killing the 12-year-old in Ohio with a toy gun without any questions asked. We all watched the video.
10 minutes away from the Republican National Convention.
There couldn't have been any conversation about this. And the Republicans seem to be making this an issue. Blue lives matter. All lives matter, but it's not your sons and daughters who are being murdered by the police.
And these things are not mutually exclusive. See, that's the other thing that bothers me about this. They act as if you object to police and their
brutality,
spontaneous public executions of black men, right?
Yes.
Then that means that you're against the police department. And that just isn't true. For them, everything is one group pitched against another.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what makes them and their positions on this so odious and disgusting.
And that is why they continue to lose. And you will lose again this year because Hillary Clinton continues to get this message out that we must live together as brothers and sisters or die as fools. And we believe that here as well. So there are as many beautiful black people in the world as there are beautiful white people and Hispanics and Germans and Italians. And we just need this part of this thing that's coming up and raising its ugly head again. After we have wait, Barry wanted to say something.
No, I was just going to say two things. First of all, we've said this before, but even in these shootings, I mean, they're too extreme. Even if you're a police officer and you decide that, for whatever reason you're going to shoot somebody, you don't have to kill them. I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, we've talked about that before. So I mean, there's an extreme thing to that, which makes it.
Yeah, who was it that said he couldn't tell his taser from his gun?
The other thing is that with this thing about fear, right? I mean, Jackie and both Jackie and I have talked about this a lot, and I think that I put up an article on the Let's Talk About It site that even among the gun deaths in the United States, 2/3 of them are suicides. 2/3 of them are male suicides. I mean, that's 538 study. 1/3 of them are homicides. Okay, so even when you look at for the population the number of murders, despite everything else, there's not really as much reason to have fear as people have. And then this business of people arming themselves and all this other stuff only makes things worse. It's not going to make it better.
It only makes it worse, Walt. And I thank my son for listening to me and deciding not to get a gun. I said, baby, having a gun is not going to make you safe. It's going to make you less safe because you have 2 strikes against you the minute you get into your car. You're a man and you are black. And so they're already targeting you.
Was that Milwaukee County Sheriff and GOP shoeshine boy David Clark. Getting up hollering Blue Lives Matter now. They want to complain of, this is supposed to be a retort to Black Lives Matter. One, they fail to see that, that saying Black Lives Matter is really not the entire title. It's saying we're really saying Black Lives Matter too.
Yeah.
And they're not showing any compassion towards that.
The other thing is that when they holler at Blue Lives Matter, they're actually trying to narrow it down to an even smaller demographic.
Yeah, and he stood up and said,
"Really, I don't see one thing. I don't see this stuff changing anytime soon.
Yeah.
Until yes, we have the 14th Amendment that outlaws slavery, but at the same time, until you remove the 3/5 clause from the U.S. Constitution, this stuff is never going to stop.
Yeah,
because we're not seeing this. Because we're still not seeing the fact that you leave it in there says we still don't see you as human beings, even though we can't work you to death and torture you and all of that and carrying on.
That is the only thing that comes to me, Barry. They don't see us as human beings. These evil white men and police officers, they don't see us as human beings. They don't try to understand our plight and nothing else. And until these things change, I don't know.
Well, but Brenda, they don't have to. Our plight is the same as everyone else's.
Yes.
That whole thing about we don't see you as human, you can stop right there. There is nothing else left to say. Mm-hmm. If you are not seen as human, that way I can treat you any way I want to. I can say things and vilify you. And when the Republicans do their thing about, food stamp president and this, that, and the other. I mean, they have worked this so well that there are certain things. My daughter was talking to me about that in the United States, when you say immigrant, what most people think now is Mexican. Mm-hmm. Do you understand?
Yep.
They don't think immigrant.
They fixed that very well, didn't they, Jackie?
When you say food stamp, they don't think, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, okay? They think lazy black folks. Mm-hmm. I mean,
in other words, they use racial code words.
Exactly.
The same thing they've been doing. This is all part of the Southern strategy that the Nixon campaign used in 1968.
Yes, exactly.
And Trump is following it.
You can hear this go on YouTube and pull up that interview that the late Republican strategist Lee Atwater.
Oh God!
Explained clearly.
Yes, he did.
He explained it clearly.
Yes,
I didn't know anything about racial code words until I heard it come out of his mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm starting to pick up on them very well, and Donald Trump is helping me to do so. He's helping me really understand, he and his cronies, the code words. I'm understanding it very well. But y'all,
there's a book that just came out a while ago that I actually have in front of me, written by a couple of journalists who have written about all the covered words that are used in the Congress and in the political world. It's called Dog Whistles, Walkbacks, and Washington Handshakes, and it tells you all the it's an attempt to sort of break into that, not just on racial things, but even on what the language is used in the Congress and so on, when people say things that don't exactly mean what they want.
Yeah.
What they want you to understand, right?
Someone remind me of who it was last night or the night before that stood up at the Republican convention and said that we have had enough of the arrogance, the incompetence, it was 3 code words that meant black. We're, arrogant. That's the main word they have for Barack Obama.
Oh, yeah. Well, they love calling Obama arrogant because he's a Negro who was elected president who has the absolute
uppity, arrogant
audacity to actually be the president. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Incompetent. I said, go on, say nigga. Just say it. Say it, and you'll feel better. And then we can see how the audience erupts in cheers.
Firstly, I had to get up off the floor because I'd have busted you in your mouth for saying it in the first place.
Yeah.
No, I would have let him say it and would have had a smile. But I just said your mouth is dripping. There's water, and just say nigga, and you gonna feel better.
I just tell anybody that I debate with on social media about this. I just to a Republican, I said, just keep on talking because Donald Trump was at 91% disapproval rating among African Americans.
Well,
now he's at 100%. So just keep on talking. I can guarantee you, as much as you complain about why the black vote is mostly for Democrats, I said, well, you can't insult me and expect me to vote with you. But keep on talking.
Yeah.
You'll never see an appreciable amount of the black votes going Republican.
Yeah.
Well, y'all, it is about that time. It's about that time for us to start to say goodbye to you. We have enjoyed so much being back. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but they were out of our hands, out of our control. But before we say goodbye to you, I want you to join me tomorrow night for Nothing But the Blues with your girl, Brenda Pearl, at 10 p.m. Eastern Time right here at the Brenda White Shows. And then Saturday night at 11 p.m. until 2 a.m. Join me once again, and let's get soft and warm together. All of the Brenda White Shows are sponsored by Spreaker.com, and they are archived just for your convenience. You can come back and listen to the whole show. You can share it still. You can download it and just enjoy at your convenience. Now, before I leave, let me ask my distinguished round table, starting with Barry K. Jackson. What have you learned today, Barry, or this week?
What did I learn today? I learned that Melania Trump can't write an original speech.
Walt, what have you learned today? Or this week?
I'm kind of in that kind of I don't know exactly what kind of territory you call it, because I don't know if I've been firing that. I think I learned I got to get a union. You know, so I'm going to be calling Jackie up and get her to sign a union card, and then, you know, I'm going to get to Barry after.
So now you're an agitator here at the Brenda White Show. We know how to take care of agitators. We've seen white folks do it forever. Ali Boumaye. Okay, Jack and Miss Company speaks.
Let's say one more thing. Bye-bye, Roger Ailes.
Oh, thank you very much. Isn't that something?
Okay, come on,
I
Barry.
read an article about that this morning.
What else have you learned, Barry? Come on.
Well, Barry, you want to tell it or you want me to tell it?
Oh, well, we can do this together.
All right.
You know, Roger Ailes, apparently Gregory Carlson, TV personality with Fox News, had filed a sexual harassment complaint against him. And for the last 10 years, he had been trying to get her in the sack, and she wasn't having it. So she
Who is
filed a
this?
complaint, and apparently 6 other female employees at Fox News.
Wait a minute, back up.
And,
First, you got to tell the audience who Roger Ailes is.
Roger Ailes is the chairman of the Fox News.
I know who he is, but you got to tell the audience.
Yes, Roger Ailes is the chairman of Fox News Corporation.
Okay.
Brenda,
He is the person, and he is, you know, a right-wing political operative, you know, who gave us Willie Horton and a bunch of other stuff.
Uh-huh.
And he is the person who instituted Fox as this right-wing psycho news network to appeal to all those people who did not like the liberal media bias.
And someone filed a sexual harassment complaint against
on TV that said things that they wanted to hear about the news.
Okay. And so someone's filed a sexual harassment lawsuit against him?
Yeah, Gretchen Carlson, like Barry said, yes.
And who is Gretchen?
yeah.
Oh, Gretchen was, she had been on Fox News for about 10 years. She was one of their anchor women.
Okay.
And her contract was up this year. And Mr. Ailes did not renew her contract because Gretchen would not, just like Barry said, that Ailes had been trying to get her in the sack for 10 years. I don't know why, as old as he is. What's he going to do? But anyway, that's something totally different.
Okay, so, all right, so...
They didn't renew Gretchen's contract, and so shortly after Gretchen was fired, you know, that was effectively firing her.
Okay.
Gretchen filed a sexual harassment lawsuit against Roger Ailes. Now, what's most interesting about this is that the reason that Roger Ailes has been able to stay head of Fox News for so long is because Rupert Murdoch always protected him. Rupert Murdoch's sons do not care for Roger Ailes.
Uh-huh.
And they wanted his ass gone a long time, but, you know, their dad was the chairman of the board, and so they had to do, you know, what Dad said.
Okay.
Well, now Dad has stepped away, and the two boys, one of them is named James, and I'm sorry I can't call the other one's name.
Okay.
But his sons are now running the organization.
Okay.
And instead of circling the wagons around Roger Ailes, they've told him that he can resign or be fired.
Oh, wonderful. Well, y'all keep us abreast.
They're negotiating a $40 million parachute.
Okay, y'all keep us abreast on this story, Barry. We're running out of time. Y'all keep us abreast of this story and bring it to us next Thursday at 1 Eastern, 12 Central, okay? All right, Jackie, what have you learned today?
I learned that you are a mean boss. That's what I learned.
Well,
I'll send you the union card.
That hardly helps.
I just think, you know, union, we gotta organize. That's what I learned today.
Well, it's just like a white man to come into a black organization and start being an agitator and a troublemaker. So while I'm gonna have a talk with you off the air, you know.
You wait. I'm gonna sing some of those old union songs. I'm gonna go back to those old Joe Hill songs.
I may have to file for divorce and be the first cyberspace divorce in history, but I may have to do it. But you ain't gonna get away with this, just starting trouble like this. Well, let me tell you what I've learned, okay? What I've learned today and throughout this week is if you are Melania, don't let Willie Vanilli write your speeches for you. Okay, that's what I've learned. And now, y'all join. What did you say there?
You are listening to Let's Talk About It, sponsored by the #1 broadcasting network on the net. And that's Spreaker.
I don't know, but whatever she did, don't let Willie Vanilli write your script for you. Okay, so y'all say goodbye to the audience, and y'all forgive my rowdy staff. They're rowdy, they're renegades, they're troublemakers, they're agitators. Y'all say goodbye to the audience.
Goodbye, audience.
Goodbye, audience.
Goodbye, audience.
Barry sounded like he was so pissed. Okay, so y'all join us here next Thursday morning or afternoon, 12 Central, 1 Eastern, and let's talk about it some more. And if you want to get in the chat room and ask a couple of questions about some shit to find out what my rowdy staff thinks, you can do that too, and they will be happy to answer you. Okay, I am the wild and wonderful Brenda White, coming to you live from the Jewel of the Delta, and that is Forest City, Arkansas. You have been listening to Let's Talk About It at the #1 broadcasting network on the net, and that's Spreaker.com. Now remember what I always tell you. Remember to live, laugh, love, and make love as often as you possibly can. Also, remember to keep the bullshit out of your lives and be kind to one another, for we are one. We love you. I'm out. I'll see you tomorrow night.
If the dream of our founders is alive in our time, we still question the power of our democracy. Tonight is your answer.
You ask me today, how long will it take? Somebody's asking, how long will prejudice blind the visions of men? I come to say to you this afternoon, however difficult the moment, however frustrating the hour, it will not be long, because truth crushed will rise again. How long? Not long. Because no lie can live forever. How long? Not long. Because you shall reap what you sow. How long? Not long. Truth forever on the scaffold, wrong forever on the throne. Yes, that scaffold sways the future. Behind the dim unknown standeth God within the shadow, keeping watch above his own. How long? Not long. Because the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. How long? Not long. Because mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He's trampling out the village where the grapes of wrath are stored. He's loosed the fateful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. He has sounded forth the trumpet that shall never call retreat. He is sifting out the hearts of men before his judgment seat. Oh, be swift, my soul, to answer him. Be jubilant, my feet. Our God is marching on. Glory, hallelujah. Glory, hallelujah.
You're listening to Spreaker Web Radio.